What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Brilliant Resilient Experience.
It was a long process to get it right, to do exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to do something special. I want to do something different. I want to do something that chefs could also like really use and appreciate. So I made sure that there was no preservatives in it. It was all natural.
Today, we have a very special guest. He is a chef based out of Los Angeles, California. He is the creator and owner of Tumie Coco hot sauce. He is also the owner of the Allium Group, which is a meal prep service. And he also is the principal at Jason George Events, which is a catering service. So we're definitely going to talk about food on this episode. So you may not want to watch this with an empty stomach, but I'm really excited because not only is Jason a chef, but he's also an MMA fan. So I'm excited to chat with him not only about food, but also about lifting, about martial arts, about MMA and upcoming UFC events. So I'm super excited. I know this is going to be a great conversation. So let's go ahead and bring on Jason Fullilove. Well, man, I'm super excited to talk to you. I see your posts all the time, obviously, and you know we both love MMA, and I love food. So I'm like, this is like the perfect guest for me to
I
have on
know.
the show.
I'm excited to talk to you too. I really like what you're doing. It's awesome.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I was looking at your Instagram story. I saw you had a Friendsgiving or something like that.
Yeah, so I'm a Traeger brand ambassador. I've been with Traeger since like 2020 when the world went upside down, and they had a little like Friendsgiving at my friend's restaurant last night. Yeah, last night. Yeah, it was awesome. The food was so good. It was like the highest level of an American Thanksgiving meal you could have. So it was great.
That's awesome. Yeah, it looked delicious. I was really jealous because I love Thanksgiving.
Hmm.
Mainly because of the
Yep.
food. Obviously, I love to see my family too, but
Yeah, but the food is
good.
really so. What do you look forward to eating at Thanksgiving?
Oh, that's a tough one.
Like everything, or is
Um,
there like a specific thing?
I really like the yams with the sweet potatoes. That's probably
Okay,
like my jam because it's kind of like it
like
feels
with
like
the
it's a
marshmallows, you
dessert.
mean? Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like the
Okay.
dessert before the dessert, you know.
Yeah, 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 for sure.
It's the warm-up
Yeah.
dessert before the pecan pie
Yeah,
and all
it's
that.
a heavy meal. There's no way around it, you know?
Yeah, it's awesome. I'm super excited for Thanksgiving because yeah, I just love to cook. I might make one of my cheesecakes. We'll see.
Okay.
Um,
You do crust or no crust?
I do crust on the bottom,
Nice.
and I do the water bath method.
Oh
So
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
it
Very
helps
nice.
so
That's an
much.
advanced technique. Oh, for sure. It makes everything cook
Yeah.
evenly.
The
Yeah.
first time I did it, I was like, I feel like I'm in a science lab or something, like making this cheesecake. This is insane. I'm like, this is way too much effort for a cheesecake. But
Yeah,
then I
what's
tasted
funny
it.
is in like professional kitchens, cooking in a water bath is pretty common. So
Yeah.
yeah, you're
Yeah.
basically a chef now. So
Hey, there we
congratulations.
go. So speaking of being a chef, how did you kind of become a chef? I mean, have you just been like cooking your whole life or how did you get into that?
Yeah, I always loved cooking. I always loved food at a young age. So I traveled a lot as a kid. My mother has a doctorate in international education. So I traveled a lot and was exposed to a lot of different foods. I actually lived in Southern Africa for a couple years as a child in Lusaka, Zambia. And I was just exposed to like flavors and spices and textures that most kids at age 10 from Cleveland, Ohio don't get exposed to. And I think that made me just look at food in a different way. Also, there were things that we couldn't get readily available in Africa that we just can get all the time in America. So like when I came home at age 12 and walked through an American grocery store and just saw aisles of just ready-made foods, like basic things like rice that didn't have pebbles in it and like flour and like white sugar were like really hard to come by. And we lived in a city in Lusaka, Zambia at that time.
Oh wow.
So I think I had a really food made a really big impression on me at a really young age. And obviously we're just talking about Thanksgiving. So going home to my grandmother's house for Thanksgiving and Christmas and just eating her food every year was like, okay, we get to go home and like be with the family now. So food always meant a lot to me at a very young age. And then I was in high school. My friend was working at a restaurant and they needed another dishwasher. So he called me. He's like, yeah, we need another dishwasher. And they fed me shrimp for dinner last night. I was like, cool, I need a job. I'll be there tomorrow. And, and that was 30 years ago. And
Wow.
3 years later, at that restaurant, I got moved up and was working on the line. And then several years later, I went to culinary school and just kind of stayed with it. So
Nice. That's awesome.
that's the short version.
Yeah. I'm obviously I'm not a chef, but I do take my food very seriously. And that was kind of my inspiration too, is like kind of growing up with my grandma cooking and watching her and my mom. And yeah, and I'm glad you said that too, because I feel like in America and even in other countries too, we kind of take it for granted, just like how simple things that we have readily available that, you know, in other countries they don't have. And it's so important to appreciate it and just know what you have, you know, it's just little things. Yeah, like you said, like rice,
Yeah, for
things like
sure.
that.
Yeah. So I think having those, for me, it definitely not only just shaped me as a chef, but as like a human being to like not take things for granted, to just to be grateful for the opportunities that we have here, you know.
Oh yeah.
And that's kind of probably pushed me into more of an entrepreneurial direction in my life as well, just being able to do that, and having the opportunities to be able to maximize those opportunities here is just, it's been my life. So yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I mentioned in your intro that you know, you own the hot sauce company Tumie Coco,
Hmm.
and then you also
Yep.
have the meal prep service, right? Hey,
Yeah.
represent.
So yeah. So I have a running joke that I currently have three businesses and two of them aren't making money, but it's fine. So
Sounds
my
about
main
right.
business, yeah, it's normal. So my main business is my events company. So we do like large scale catering events. We catered the Grammys this year for 5,000 people. We did the inauguration for Mayor Karen Bass. We do a lot of like corporate catering, and we do a lot of holiday parties for like tech companies and entertainment companies and for law firms. That's really my main business, and that's been pretty successful for me since 2020. Um, I started the meal prep company in like 2021 just for my gym. Now we at the point now with that where we have it down to like a science and we're really good at it, and the feedback has been amazing, and our business has grown. So now we're reaching out to other gyms to try to get to be their meal prep service. And then on top of that, I started developing the hot sauce, Tumie Coco, right here, in about 2020 also. And I just pressed my first set of bottles on April of this year. So it was a long process to get it right, to do exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to do something special. I want to do something different. I want to do something that chefs could also like really use and appreciate. So I made sure that there was no preservatives in it. It was all natural. There's no sugar. It has turmeric and coconut oil. That's the emulsification. So when you put it in the refrigerator, it'll thicken up because of the oil. It's going to be a little bit of a separation because there's none of that xanthan gum or any of that type of emulsifier in there. But I think people who understand and appreciate and want that, that all natural product in their diet will completely appreciate that. And also, it's 2 years shelf stable. So in order for me to get all those things into one bottle, it took a lot of years of development, but we finally got it there. We're working on getting it into some stores right now. It's been available online since April, and it's been going really well. And I'm fortunate I have a really amazing business partner with the company now. So we're trying to scale up and do a lot of cool things. We have the hats, we have the hoodies, and I also have a cookbook that's going to be coming out before the end of the year as well. The cookbook is essentially done. We're like in the final stages of like color correction and editing. It's a small cookbook, 25 recipes, but every recipe shows you a different way you can use the hot sauce. So I call it a culture. It's not just a sauce in a bottle. The book is called the Tumie Coco Cultural Guide. And my plan is we're scheduled to release two new sauces next year. And with every sauce, we're going to do the same thing. There's going to be gear, there's going to be cookbooks, there's going to be content. So I'm really trying to build a culture around the product and not just put a bottle on the shelf and just say, I hope people buy it. I'm really trying to maximize everything that I love doing: food, fashion, flavor, community, and put it all into one product. So it's been really fun for me. It's a different thing because being a guy who's been working in, kitchens my entire life, and really in the last few years looking at like other ways to expand my brand and myself and to look at different ways to generate, revenue and awareness and get my word of like what I represent as a chef out to the world in the last few years has been really, really fascinating and fun for me. So I'm lucky. I'm blessed.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sauce is delicious, by the way. I don't think you could possibly send it to me fast
Thank
enough
you.
because I eat it literally on everything when I get it. It's like an obsession. Like every time you send it to me, I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna eat this on literally everything this week. And it's so good. It's good on tacos. It's really good on chicken. I like to put it on chicken thighs and like I'll marinate it on the chicken thighs and then throw it in the oven. And then I'll put more on it after, and it's so good. And like you said, there's no kind of bad ingredients in it, is what I call it, which is in most sauces that you buy. Not even just hot sauce, just
Yeah.
any sauce in general. So
Any shelf stable product. I mean, it
yeah,
has all types of stuff in there, and I don't think people really realize that. So a
no,
lot of times I'll approach a chef or an influencer or a pit master or someone I know who's been on a TV show, and I'll give them my sauce, and they'll say something to me like, "I have so many hot sauces at my house. People keep sending me their product," and I say, "Well, how many of them are all natural?
yeah,
You know what I'm
zero.
saying? How many of them come with a cookbook, and how many of them come with apparel? Right? There's no one in that category. So it's really cool to be leading the charge in that way and trying to do something different. And another thing that you're going to notice, I was actually talking to my business partner about this today, is the next two labels we have are designed by, this label was designed by a friend of mine who I've known for years, who's an artist. And I have another friend who did our hoodies, who's actually designing the next two labels as well. So they're going to become a lot more artistic. So for the next two bottles, like I was saying, my friend designed this label. He's an artist that I've known for years, a graphic designer. He's also a graffiti artist in New York City. I've known for a very long time.
Yeah.
And my friend who designed our hoodies also designed the artwork for our next two bottles as well. He's also like a world-renowned muralist. So we really want to kind of change what shelf stable products look like.
Yeah.
Everyone gives it Andy Warhol props for designing the Campbell soup bottle 62 years ago. They kind of set the standard for shelf stable products in our country. So I really want to try to push the needle a bit forward and get things a little bit more artistic and relevant and fun and cool. So, and also flavorful and healthy. We can wrap all those things into a package. I think that's something new that the world needs.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. And that's awesome because, anybody can go and make a sauce and put it on a shelf, but to be able to
Yeah.
create a whole brand out of it, I think is really cool. And I think that's only going to help you with just kind of spreading the word about it and getting it into, stores, getting it into
Yep.
the hands of people who want it, because I feel like it's just so underrated. Like even little things like colors that you use or little
Hmm.
things like that that
Right.
stand out and make you different.
Yeah.
It's so huge, especially nowadays when there's just so much competition with
Yeah.
everything.
We're
Yeah,
very visual creatures, so anything that we can do to add to the visuals of our product is going to be great. And that goes to the content, the colors, the packaging, everything.
for sure. Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. So you're working on, you said a couple more bottles of the sauce. Are you working on different flavors or?
Yeah, so the two new sauces that we're dropping next year, one is going to be called, well, I don't want to say the names yet. So one of them is going to be more of a sweet sauce,
Oh, okay.
but it's going to be sweetened with roasted plum. And there's going to be some dry active charcoal, coconut charcoal in there, and some coconut aminos. So it's going to be very dark, almost black. The book for that one is going to be a little bit more chef focused. It's going to be a little bit more fine dining focused. And then the other one we're doing is Tumie Coco Citrus, which is basically going to be the original product, but less acidic. I'm sorry, less spicy, more acidic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well, that's exciting. I can't wait to try the new ones.
I'm so excited for them. Yeah, they're gonna be really cool.
Yeah, the sweet one I bet would probably be good with like some Asian type dishes and
Yeah,
stuff
for
like that.
sure. So it's gonna be like kind of like a spicy teriyaki, but without the soy, basically. Yeah,
Nice. Yeah,
yeah.
because coconut aminos, I don't know if I've tried that, but is that like a similar flavor to kind of like a
It's
soy
similar
sauce?
to soy, but it's very light and it's not as salty.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes I put too much soy sauce on like my rice and it just
You should
ruins it.
switch to coconut aminos. I think most people who do that,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a little bit more expensive, but it's the flavor is amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, and how important do you think it is just to pay attention to the ingredients on your food? I mean, obviously you know because you're a chef, but most people
Yeah.
have no idea.
Yeah, I think we live in a really busy society. People
Yeah.
don't have time to look at labels and think too much about their nutrition. I try to be conscious of the fact that I live in a beach community in Los Angeles and we don't represent the most of the country. Like, yeah,
No,
most
I'm
of
in
my friends go to the
Missouri,
gym
so
yeah, exactly. Most of my they care about how they look and but I don't, that's not most of America. And I understand that. So again, part of what I'm doing is trying to make eating healthy easier, right? And flavorful at the same time. So you know how it is. You got your meal prep, you prep your proteins and your carbs and your vegetables. And You may not have time to season it properly. I've literally just been putting my sauce on all my meal prep food, and it just changes the taste of everything, and it goes well with everything. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's huge. It because and I preach this all the time. I'm like, just because you eat healthy doesn't mean your food has to taste bad. Like you don't have
For
to sit there
sure.
and eat unseasoned meat, and it's just gross to me when I
Yeah.
see it. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, it
You
is
feel
not
sad for
unhealthy to
people.
have flavor. Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah,
you could
yeah,
still flavor it up, spice it up a little bit. And I think that's
yeah.
perfect for, people, and you work out, you're in the gym
Mhm.
all the time, I see. And
Yeah.
so it's perfect for people who are health conscious and they do want to eat healthy. It's like, oh, here's a sauce that you can put on your food that isn't going to add a bunch of crap to it. It's not going to make it unhealthy. It's just going to add a little bit of flavor, and a little bit of flavor never hurt anybody. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and another thing I think that what's made our meal prep company so successful is the flavor is like it's restaurant quality food, basically. And I think that once the word got out about that, then more people at our gym started ordering it. So it's been a good thing for us. So,
For sure. Yeah,
yeah,
definitely. Um, Hold on one second.
yeah.
Yeah.
I keep trying to mute every time a trash truck goes by. It's trash
Oh
day.
no,
I
you're
forgot.
fine. My
You're good at
my
stretching the
headphone,
conversation. So,
it's like one side I can't hear.
oh, I can hear you in both for some reason. You sound great. But,
No, it wasn't my headphones, it was my ear.
oh,
I
you
have
got an
really bad
infection or something?
allergies, and
Oh, okay.
my
Yeah, me too.
this ear, like people try to talk to me on this side and I cannot hear anything they say because
Uh,
my ears just get clogged, and I was like, are my headphones going out? And then I was like, oh no, it's my ear. Okay,
my
good, we're
allergies.
good.
Yeah.
I was like, man, how many technology problems can I have in one day? Uh,
It's your
so
day.
getting back to what I was saying is, so kind of transitioning from food talk, which is making me hungry, by the way, um,
Yep.
is
I ate right before we got on here, so I'm good.
yeah, so did I, and I'm gonna have to eat again. I noticed that you are in the gym all the time. Do you
Yeah.
train? So you lift, obviously. Do you train
Mhm.
martial arts too?
Yeah, we could talk about that. That's kind of crazy. So, uh, man, I don't even remember. It had to be like 2010, maybe. Um, I went to a Krav Maga gym because I always wanted to take Krav Maga. The first class I took was a free trial. It was taught by Marcus Koval. He's like a Swedish kickboxing champion. I threw up my first class, and then I signed up for everything. And I fell in love with it ever since. So
That's
I made it. I went there and just trained my ass off for a couple years. I made it to level two, and when you get to level two, you start to do more sparring. Once you learn basic kick strikes, right? And then you get into more sparring and more ground fighting. And then everybody's like, "Hey, we offer like fight classes too. You should take some of the fight classes. Then you really learn how to spar and you learn some more ground fighting." So I started taking the fight classes, and like I fell in love with those. Those are basically like Muay Thai classes. And then they also
nice.
offered ground fighting classes that was taught by Kevin Casey. I'm sure you know that name.
Yep.
He was one of our instructors,
He was on the
high
Ultimate
level.
Fighter, right?
Yeah, Gracie black belt, UFC fighter, RFA champion. So I trained with him a lot. He's a great dude, and I got tired of getting my ass kicked in jujitsu at that school, so I went and joined the jujitsu school. So I joined 10th Planet. I trained with Scott Epstein for about 3 years off and on at 10th Planet in West LA. And then I kind of kept going with the martial arts thing up until about 2020 when everything shut down.
Sure.
And my wife joined a gym, a strength and conditioning gym near us, I think in 2021. And she was there for 6 months and kept telling me to come by and try it out. And I had never been like, a weightlifting, strength and conditioning guy. I wanted to go back to martial arts, but I've been
Sure.
out of the gym for so long, just working out at my house for like, over a year. I was like, I need to do something. So I joined the gym. I absolutely fell in love with it. And also, with the research at my age now, I'm supposed to be lifting weights. So I just really got into it. I've been doing it for, I think it's going on 2 years now. I train 5 to 6 days a week doing that. Recently, I just signed up at my friend Ricky's gym. He used to train at the Krav Institute with us. Now he has his own gym, 360 Self Defense. So I do jujitsu there and boxing there. Richard Bresler is the jujitsu coach. He's another high level Gracie black belt legend in the game. And yeah, it's fun for me. I love to roll. I love to strike. I'm not trying to get in any fights at my age or anything like that. But it's the best workout, and you feel so good.
Oh
And
yeah.
the camaraderie at the gym is always amazing. And yeah, I've also felt like I kind of missed that martial arts camaraderie. Our strength and conditioning gym has an amazing community and camaraderie as well. But just being around guys that love fighting and the striking and the rolling is just something that I miss. So it's good to be back in there. So I'm there a few days a week now, and still sticking with the strength and conditioning pretty heavy. So yeah,
That's
I'm
awesome.
getting I'm getting thicker. So I guess that's a good thing.
That's awesome. Yeah, a lot of people don't
Yeah.
realize, and I didn't even realize it until I probably started lifting around the same time you did, actually, which is kind of funny.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
and I had like kind of done a little bit before, but it was never like barbells or anything. Like it was just like little
Yeah.
stuff. And
Right.
I always did
Me
more
too. Same
cardio.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I always did more cardio, like whether it be running or boxing or whatever it
Yeah.
was, like that was what I was always into. And then I started lifting and I was like, oh, this is how you actually get in shape. Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
He told me,
Right.
like, what the heck? This is how you
Yeah.
get abs. You don't get abs from running 6 miles. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
cool. And yeah, so then when I started lifting, I started noticing like even though I was kind of gaining a little bit of weight, like I looked
hmm
better and I felt more confident and I felt
Oh, for
better
sure.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's huge. And
One thing I noticed, like after being out of martial arts for like almost 3 years,
yeah.
and then doing strength and conditioning for 2 years, and then going back and rolling with people, I felt so strong, and so my endurance was like through the roof.
Oh,
And I hadn't
100%.
really done anything in years. It was just the different type of training just made me better in that one discipline. Because when you train martial arts for 10 years, the muscle memory's still there. Of course, you're very rusty after taking some time off, but it was definitely a noticeable difference in my endurance and strength. So yeah,
100%.
it's been super beneficial. I highly recommend it for everybody. Yeah. Right now we're doing at our gym we're doing different we do different cycles every 3 months. So now we're on our bench cycle. It's I believe it's bench and front squat is our cycle right now. So you get tested at the beginning of the cycle and you try to go up a certain amount of weight by the end of the cycle. So it's
Oh,
really,
that's
really
cool.
great gym. Yeah, I can't recommend it enough. It's Deuce Athletics in Hermosa Beach. We have an amazing coaching team out there.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
huge. It's so important. And I feel like for me, like the lifting, that is kind of like my time to like really get in my headspace and just kind
Yeah.
of focus and grind it out. And then when I
Yeah.
go to my martial arts gym, when I go to my MMA gym, and I
hmm
just do the boxing classes right now. Um,
Yeah.
but that's kind of where, like you said, that community, that camaraderie
Yeah.
is so
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah.
Like I tell
hmm
people, because they're like, you seem like you've gotten a lot more confident and happier. And I'm like, well, because I
Yeah.
got back into MMA training. Like I got back into
hmm
it and just being around people, like being around fighters
For
and being
sure.
around,
Yeah.
like it's amazing. It really
Yeah.
is.
Do
It's
you
not
do
even
any
the workout. It's more just like being there that makes a difference to me.
for sure. But it keeps you coming back. Do you do any jujitsu?
Yep. No, I've done one jujitsu class, and whenever I did
Yeah.
it, I was so I used to do insurance, and I was about to open my insurance agency,
Okay.
and I took one jujitsu class, and I was like, "Whoa, I'm about to be obsessed with this." So
Mhm.
I cannot do this right now because
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm the type of person where when I when I start doing something, I make it like
It
my whole
happens to
personality.
everybody. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu is definitely one of those things. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. But I plan to do jujitsu once I kind of get back in the swing of things. I've got like
hmm
some issues with my knee a little bit.
Okay.
And
Yeah, we'll definitely let that heal first, for sure.
yeah, and
Yeah.
it's not like a major issue. It's just like
hmm
recurring. I've had it since I was a kid, like just
Okay.
kind of recurring issues I've had with it. And it just seems like
Yeah.
if I run too much or if I like aggravate it sometimes. So I'm like, okay, let's take baby steps this time and let's not,
Yeah.
injure my knee. So I'm like, okay, let me take baby steps and not overdo it like I normally do.
hmm
Trying to be
Yeah.
smart this time.
That's the hardest part. People don't realize rest is just as important. I mean, I've
Yeah.
had to step back. There's certain times you can work up to working out a certain amount of hours a week, but
Mhm.
you have to have life and work and other responsibilities and need
Oh
to show
yeah.
up for those too. So finding your balance is super important and getting your rest is super important.
Super important. Yeah, I always tell
Speaking of
people.
not resting, how do you feel about Tony training with David Goggins? How crazy is that?
Rest in peace, Patty Pimblett. Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah.
gosh, I am so excited to see
I'm
Tony.
excited too. Tony's just one of those guys that you can't help but root for. Like we just all love Tony and just we just want to see him do well. So hopefully this is the thing, man.
I hope so. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
man, it's been tough to see him on that losing streak. I've
yeah,
been such a huge Tony fan, mostly just because of like his personality too. Like he's just such a wild guy, and like he's got that just such a unique vibe to him, and
yeah, for sure.
then his fighting style too is so unique. Like
Hmm.
you just don't see people like that very often. He's a very special kind of fighter that
Yeah,
we're
he
never
really
gonna
is.
see another Tony Ferguson. I
No,
think that's what it is for me.
definitely not.
And
Yeah,
yeah, I feel like some of these fighters too, like people don't appreciate them enough. Like while they're in the UFC, while they're in their prime, and then when they're out of their prime, they're like, oh, like they kind of like turn their back on them. But I've never turned my back on Tony, so I'm like, you know
you
what?
got to say,
I don't
hey,
care.
go watch the highlight reels, dog.
100%. Yeah, look at all his
Yeah,
opponents' faces after they were done with the
yeah,
fight.
for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you
So,
seen not to keep jumping around, but have you seen that thing that's floating around when Francis Ngannou knocked down Tyson Fury the second count?
oh,
Apparently it was
there
like
was.
26 seconds, not 10 seconds.
I saw that. I wasn't sure
Yeah,
what was going on with that, and I haven't went back and like rewatched the whole fight to
yeah,
see like what
yeah.
actually happened. But I
Hmm.
saw that. Is Joe Rogan the one that pointed that out?
Yeah, I think Joe Rogan was talking about it and Brendan Schaub. It was on a few like websites though. Yeah,
Wow, that's
yeah.
crazy. It
Wow.
makes me
I
wonder
actually
like
I
how
bought that
corrupt
fight.
that was.
Oh yeah, for sure. I bought that fight just because you kind of have to, like, didn't have anything to do. You buy the fight. I didn't. I was hoping that it went well. I was really, really in Francis's corner. I really wanted him to win and do well, obviously. But that fight was really good. Like it was
Yeah,
really good fight. Yeah,
I was not
I
expecting
was
it to
very
be that
impressed.
competitive.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It was,
Yeah,
and
he
what
shocked
better
the world.
guy for that to
Of
Francis is
course.
just. I've always been a huge Francis fan, even when everybody kind of doubted him. Like even in the Cyril Gahn fight, a lot of people thought Cyril Gahn was going to win that fight, and I'm like, you guys are insane. I'm like, this is Francis Ngannou. Have you seen him? I'm like, he's a freaking unit. You guys are crazy. And when I saw what he did to Rosenstrick, I'm like, yeah, no. I'm like, Cyril Gahn. I'm like, he might not get knocked out, but he is not going to beat Francis Ngannou. And even in the Stipe fight too, the rematch, everybody was saying that Stipe was going to win this the second time because he did win the first fight.
Yeah.
And everybody kind of has doubted him a lot. And then
Hmm.
even when he left the UFC,
Oh,
he's
he got a
fumbling the
lot of
bag.
hate. Yeah, yeah. He got so much hate. It was
He
wild.
did. He
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
But
He pulled it off though. Good for him.
I'm so happy for him. And that's just
Yeah.
sets such a good tone too for a lot of the fighters because it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
you can advocate for yourself and
Yeah, for
bet on
sure.
yourself.
I mean, do you think that people are going to want to see him fight in PFL now, or do you think people want to see him keep boxing? I want to see him box every top 10 heavyweight in the world. Me personally, after that performance, I
I
want to see him box
wonder,
everybody. Yeah,
yeah.
I don't know. I think there's more opportunity for him boxing now than in the
Yeah.
PFL, but who knows? Who knows? You never know.
I honestly don't know. I was kind of thinking about that because I'm thinking of like what matchups would they even make for him in PFL? I mean, Dennis
Yeah.
Goltsov, I think would probably be like my top choice of who I'd want to see him
Yeah.
fight in PFL, just
Hmm.
because he does have like crazy power too, kind of like
Hmm.
Francis. I probably still
Yeah.
think Francis would win. And then there's another fighter, I think Fajeda is his last name. He's a pretty
Hmm.
tall heavyweight in PFL. um,
Okay.
I can't remember who he might be fighting Goltsov for the tournament, which is coming up soon.
Okay.
That's on the 24th, I believe, is
Okay.
the tournament. So I imagine the winner of that
It's gonna fight
heavyweight
Francis.
tournament would be
Yeah,
their number one choice, I would think, depending
for
on how it
sure.
goes. Unless it's like a
Okay.
boring decision, like Almeida versus
Yeah. Yeah.
Lewis.
Right. Right.
Which I didn't
Yeah.
get to watch that fight live, but I was kind of sad because I always like to see Derek Lewis win and prove that
Hmm.
MMA doesn't work. Uh,
Yeah.
I like to see
That's a
him
good way
just
to put
stand
it.
up.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah, yeah.
He's like, what is he, like a blue belt?
And
Like he,
I mean,
yeah.
you really watch for the post-fight interview with him. I mean, it's really what you
Oh my
watch for.
gosh.
So
His last
yeah.
one just topped all of them. It was fantastic. He's running around, flinging his shorts around. That was great. Love Derek Lewis.
Yeah, he's a national treasure. You gotta love that guy.
Oh yeah, yeah. But I'm kind of glad because it's like, okay, if Derek Lewis would have won that fight against Almeida, then he would have probably been kind of back in the title picture. And we know like
Hmm.
most likely Derek isn't going to win a title. If he
Yeah,
gets in a title fight, most likely. I mean, these
right.
guys, Tom Aspinall,
Yeah.
Pavlovich, we've got Cyril
Hmm.
Gane, like these guys, it might not go well for him with
It's tough.
matchups.
Yeah.
So actually, I'm kind of happy about this because then we can see him get matched up with fighters that he's actually capable of beating,
Right.
and maybe
Yeah.
hopefully not a high level jujitsu black belt would be great.
Hmm.
It's literally like the worst possible matchup for him they could have made.
Yes.
But he
Yes.
saved the fight. He saved the main event. So you got to give him
Yeah.
props for that.
Yeah. It's also so unfortunate that Jones and Stipe got canceled. So I don't think we're
Yeah.
never getting that fight now. It's never happening.
No,
So that
no,
was fun.
definitely not.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know what's
because
next for those
Stipe
guys.
didn't even want to fight at all after the
Yeah.
injury, came out. He didn't
Hmm.
even, or maybe I don't know. I don't know what happened there. I don't know if the UFC didn't want Stipe to fight Aspinall or Pavlovich, or if Stipe was just like, no, like I
I
gotta fight
think he
these
just
guys.
I don't know anything for sure. I'm just talking. I'm
Yeah, I don't
assuming he's
either.
thinking about just going out, I mean, he's been doing it forever. So
Oh
comes to a
yeah,
point where it's like, what else is there, right?
yeah. I don't even
Yeah.
know how motivated he was to fight this time around.
Yeah.
Especially with him being, getting older, and
Yep.
after seeing what John Jones did to Gone and that fast, it's like
Yeah.
how motivated could you possibly be? I mean, the money, I guess, but I don't know if Stipe really fights for the money though.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure that doesn't, hurt.
I mean, I mean, I feel like everybody kind of does, no matter what they say. I mean, yeah, people love to
Yeah,
fight, but the money is why, get paid to
of
fight.
course.
That's your job. You show up for your
Yes.
job. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. And I'm sure that if he would have fought Pavlovich or Aspinall, they wouldn't have given him nearly as much as the Jones fight. So it's
Yeah.
like, and now you got to do a whole new training camp kind of because you have a new opponent and
Hmm.
they're not John Jones,
Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
I could see that being a little frustrating for him.
And I'm
So,
sure they've both been training for each other for a while. So yeah, what's the point?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's man, I was really excited about that. But at the same time, I really didn't want to watch Stipe lose. So,
Hmm.
kind of glad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know that it
Well,
would have been like a finish. I think it probably would have gone to decision, honestly, because Stipe is pretty tough. And
it might have been a Jones Gustafson
yeah,
replay. Who knows?
yeah,
You never
that's what I
know.
kept saying. I'm like, I don't think this is going to be as easy of a fight as Cyril Gane. I'm like, you guys don't
Yeah.
understand who Stipe is, do you? Like,
No. No.
he's like the greatest heavyweight of all
Tough
time,
Ohio boy,
arguably.
man. Let's go, Ohio, baby.
Yeah, that immigrant mentality.
Yeah, exactly. Immigrant mentality. Stiopic.
Yes, Theo. That's one of my favorite. Oh my gosh, Joey Diaz. They got to get him on another fight companion soon.
Oh, for
That's so
sure.
funny.
He's a gem.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's so funny. Yeah, but I'm excited for. I'm not going to be able to watch it live because, of course, I got another
Hmm.
event this weekend, which I'm actually really excited for though, because it's
What are you doing this weekend?
a kickboxing tournament, or not tournament, but a
Nice.
kickboxing event. Yeah, so local
Okay.
show. Yeah, it's gonna be
Okay.
awesome. I've got some friends that are fighting on the card, and one of
Awesome.
our team members from our gym, Austin Miller, he's fighting for a title. So
Fantastic.
yeah,
Well,
super
good luck.
excited.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. Very
Yeah,
cool.
it's really cool. I see the work they put in too, and I'm not even
Hmm.
there that much, but I see them every time I'm there. They're all there.
Yeah.
Do you guys live here? Like,
Do you go to
wow.
any UFC fights ever? Have you been to any UFCs?
I have not been to the UFC. I've been to
Okay.
Bellator. And
Okay.
obviously I do the Shamrock
Yeah, yeah.
fights and all that, but
Right.
have
Hmm.
not been to a UFC event. So I need to
Okay.
check that off my list.
Yeah, I think the first trip out of state that me and my wife took together was to see a UFC fight in Dallas. It
Nice.
was Darren Till versus Tyron Woodley,
Oh,
and that was an amazing card. It was
yeah,
fantastic. Yeah, it was a good time. Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, I
but we've been
really
to a
want to
few
go.
few fights in Vegas. So she's from Henderson, so we go to Las Vegas, Nevada a lot.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, her family's still in Henderson. So we've gone to quite a few fights in Vegas before because it's pretty close for us. It's like a 30 minute flight. So it's not that bad.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I really want to go. Hopefully in 2024, I'll be able to check that off my bucket list as one of
Yeah, definitely. You got to. We should go together.
my.
Let's make a crew. Let's make it
Oh
happen.
yeah, absolutely. That would be so awesome. I would be so excited. I want to go to a BKFC event too. That's like my list for next year. I want to go to a UFC event, a BKFC event, and maybe even a PFL event too.
Nice.
So
I'm probably cool on the BFKC event. I haven't watched one of those fights before. I
oh
don't know.
man, it's crazy. Did you see what they
I
did
just see the
this weekend?
aftermath, and I'm just like, ugh, no. What they do this weekend?
They did bare knuckle Muay Thai.
Ooh, how was that?
It was Bakal
That doesn't
versus
seem as
Senchai.
bad because there's kicks involved, I guess. So you're not just beating
Yeah.
someone up with your fist. I
Yeah.
saw highlights from that, but I mean, Bull Cow like outweighs him by like 50 pounds, doesn't he?
Yeah. Something like
He's a
that.
big guy. Yeah, yeah. I mean, two
Hmm.
legends. You still got to respect
Oh
it. I
yeah.
mean, and they're friends. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Senchai after the
yeah,
fight was like, he won the fight. He's like, don't give him credit for the weight, the weight difference. He's like, he won the fight, guys. He's like, give him the
yeah,
credit.
yeah, yeah,
He's so
yeah,
cool. That's awesome.
yeah,
But
yeah. Both those guys are amazing.
yeah. Well, we got Mike Perry versus Eddie Alvarez in BKFC in December. So I'm
Okay,
excited to watch that one.
Mike Perry's gonna ruin somebody else's life. That's cool.
Mike Perry is insane. I love that guy. He is so
He's
crazy.
entertaining for sure. Yeah,
Oh
I think
my
he found his
gosh.
niche. I mean, he got out the UFC and landed right in that. He's
Yeah.
doing great. He's killing it over there. He's made
Yeah.
for that,
Oh my gosh. It fits his personality perfectly.
for
Uh,
sure.
it's pretty funny. But yeah, I do really want to go to a UFC event. I'll have to look at the calendar. I know they just announced 3 pay-per-views. They announced
Okay.
Strickland versus Duplessis, that's UFC
Hmm.
297. And then 298 is Volkanovski versus Taporia, which they're targeting
Okay.
that for February. I don't know. How do you feel about that after Volkanovski just got knocked out? I don't love it. I don't love it.
Volk is tough. He's a tough guy, but probably should take little bit more time out.
Yeah.
I know that last fight wasn't easy for him, so
Yeah.
yeah, I would take a little bit more time. But you can't tell a fighter not to fight. So what are you gonna do? He probably wants to get right back in there. So
Yes, he does.
yeah,
Especially, I feel like
yeah,
that's like a lot of times too with a fighter when they lose a fight, especially somebody who
yeah,
doesn't lose, like
yeah,
Volkanovski, and then they
yeah, yeah.
lose, and then they're just like so eager to get back in there and just like get back in
Right.
the win column.
Yep.
Um, and I think that he thinks that Taporia is a much easier fight, which it could be. But at
Hmm.
the same time, it's like we don't know. Taporia could be an absolute killer. He could be the
Yeah.
next champion at featherweight. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm like, I don't know how I feel about it with it being so soon. If it was more closer to the middle of the year, I would say Volkanovski all
Yeah.
day long.
For sure. Yeah.
But with it being in February, I'm like, man, that's only like 4 months, not even.
But he also didn't have a full camp for that last fight, right?
That's true.
It was short
Yeah.
notice, so maybe. I mean,
Yeah. I am a
I mean,
little
you
nervous
gotta
with
you gotta
the
consider
weight
all
cut
factors.
though, with him
Yeah.
cutting weight. I know that's not going to help his chin,
Right.
but
True.
who knows? He's Volkanovski,
Yeah.
so
He's
he can do
Volkanovski.
anything.
Yes. Yes, he can.
He's
He
so
beat Max
he's
like
grown
four
on
times.
me
So
so much.
I know he's growing on everybody. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love that guy.
Everybody hated him for beating up on Max, and then all of a sudden everybody likes him now. So
Yeah, well,
it's
because
funny how things change.
I'm such a big Max Holloway fan, and
Everybody is.
so
Yeah.
yeah, how can you not? He's
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah. So whenever the kind of controversial fights, the first 2 fights, I was
Hmm.
like, I don't know about this guy. And then and then the third fight, I was like, okay. I was like, I'm sold.
All
I'm
right.
like, I
Three,
got
three.
you.
All right, you got it. Yeah, yeah. You're
Yeah.
legit. Yeah.
Yeah, because the third fight was very like dominant. So it was
Hmm.
like, okay, I
Yeah.
see you.
You
Yeah.
can stop now. Yeah, we get it.
Yeah. Yeah. So who do you have like a favorite fighter or a fighter that's really kind of been
Man,
influential on you?
yeah, John Jones is like probably my number one. I mean, yeah. I mean, even with all the drama, but when he
Yeah,
was
of course.
when, when when he was at the top and he was winning and he was just the man, and that John Jones era was special. Like it
Yeah.
was a special era. And that was like really around the time when I got into fighting. It was like kind of like the tail end of Anderson Silva, and like John Jones' peak is right around the time I got into UFC. So it was a good time. Definitely Anderson Silva is definitely, one of my top favorite fighters. I'm really excited to see what his son does. I feel like there's a lot of potential for stuff there. Yeah, I would say those two definitely. Right now, I mean, obviously, I'm a big Izzy fan. Now
Yeah.
I'm a big Sean Strickland fan. I never thought I would say that, but like, I'm like, right now, I'm all about Sean Strickland because, like, I've
Oh
been just
yeah.
watching like some of his training footage and him talking about fighting and his, yeah, like I'm a big Sean Strickland fan now too. So I think there's a lot. We're gonna see a lot from him hopefully in the
He's
next
so
couple of years.
unique. His style
Yeah,
and his personality, obviously,
yeah,
very,
yeah,
very unique
yeah, yeah.
guy. But he's just, I feel like he's matured a little bit, especially
A
since,
lot. Mhm.
kind of the beginning of the talk of the title fight. I feel like even since then, I
Yeah,
think that has a lot to do with training at Extreme too. I
yeah,
think that
yeah,
has a
for sure.
lot to do with it.
Hmm.
And one of my friends, he just fought on Saturday. He trains at Extreme as well.
Okay.
And
Wow.
I feel like I've kind of seen the same thing with him. Like he's really kind of
Hmm.
just seems like he's glowing in a
He's
different
dialed it in a
way.
little bit. Yeah. It must just be the
Yeah,
gym. They must just have a great program,
I think
A,
so.
a
And
good a good
Francis
gym, a
trains
good
there.
coaches, the right people around you. Yeah, I mean, it can change everything.
Yeah.
Who you around is so important in every aspect of life. So
Oh,
maintain your
100%.
circle. Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, in carrying that momentum to the gym, winning the belt and kind of
Yeah.
bringing that energy back to the gym, that's only got to help. I mean, that's kind of what Josh was saying. He was like, yeah, there's just kind of a different vibe, a different buzz in the air
Right.
since Sean won the belt. And
That's
yeah,
great.
it's got to be so cool, kind of just seeing him training and being in the
Hmm.
same room as him. That's got to be freaking
Yeah, with
awesome.
greatness, of course. That's amazing.
Oh
You
yeah.
can't buy that.
No, yeah, yeah. So I'm really excited. How do you think that matchup goes? Him versus Duplessis.
I'm taking Sean. I'm just a Sean fan.
I think I'm taking Sean too.
Yeah, and to be completely honest, I haven't seen a lot of Duplessis. So, you know, ask me again before the fight. I'll do some more research, and I'll have a better formed answer.
You know what's funny? Sometimes, like, so my mom predicted Sean
Hmm.
Strickland would win against Izzy,
Yeah,
and she doesn't
really.
know nearly as much about MMA as I do. And I
Wow.
put all
Why?
this
Why?
thought
How did she
into
do
it.
that? Yeah.
She just likes him.
Okay.
She
Yeah.
just likes his vibe, I guess. The people's champ.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I was like, you're crazy. I'm like, it's Adesanya. I'm like, Mom, you're insane. She's like, I'm going
Yeah.
with Sean Strickland. And I'm like, okay. And I was like, had this whole analysis, of like, oh, well, this
Hmm.
is why Adesanya is, and I was wrong. I was so wrong. And Sean
Yeah.
Strickland proved a lot of people wrong because
He really
most
did.
MMA media people I knew and analysts, they were picking Adesanya like
Of
100%.
course, everybody's picking Adesanya. Yeah. But
Yeah.
now, you got to put respect on Sean Strickland's name now. He shocked the world, baby.
It's hard to bet against him now, especially with Duplessis, because I honestly think that Adesanya is even a tougher fight than Duplessis,
Hmm.
in my
Of
opinion.
course. Yeah.
Depending on who you're matched up with, I think, um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what was going on with Robert Whitaker. He didn't
Hmm.
look like Robert Whitaker, though, in that fight.
Yeah.
It just didn't look,
Right.
I don't know, something just felt different. I'm like, this is
Yeah.
not the Robert Whitaker I'm used to seeing. And not to take
Yeah.
away anything from Duplessis. Of course, it was super impressive win. I mean, he did not have a bad moment in that fight. But
Nothing against Robert Whitaker, but I mean, also, there comes a time when it's like surgeries, time off, and just miles in the ring. It catches up to you at some point.
oh yeah,
No matter how hard you train, it gets to a point where and then
he's
the
been
new
in a lot
young
of 5 round fights
fresh guy
too.
comes in. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that
And
stuff
he's
all
got
adds up.
kids. He's got family. He's
Yeah, yeah.
got a lot
It's
going
just
on.
MMA math, as they say.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I do think I really do though think I've thought about this a lot, and I do think that Sean I would slightly favor Sean against Duplessis because One thing I know about Duplessis, he's never seen a fourth round. And even in a 3-round fight, he has struggled with cardio before. And Sean, obviously, that is not a problem for him. So I think that alone might be enough. Now, if Duplessis can TKO him or knock him out in the first couple rounds, I think that would probably be like the only way that he would win.
Yeah.
But if Sean can survive, the first couple rounds with Duplessis, I think Sean has it in the bag. I think he'll probably most likely win it by decision. But I'm taking Sean on that one. Even with kind of doing research, I think I'll still probably have the same answer. But that's on the I think that's on the Toronto card in January. So I'm excited about that.
That's coming up. That's gonna be good.
Yeah. Did you see I think it's Michael Malott versus Neil Magny is on that one. Michael Malott's from Canada. So that's going to be really exciting. And then somebody from my hometown from St. Louis, Garrett Armfield.
Let's go.
He is fighting what's his name? Brad Katona. He just fought in the Ultimate Fighter, and he just fought, I cannot think of names right now. I'm just blanking. But it was literally one of the best fights I've seen in a long time. It was so good of a fight. And it was like supposed to be the Ultimate Fighter finale, I guess. But since the Michael Chandler Conor fight didn't happen, they didn't make a whole thing.
Never happening. Yeah.
So unfortunately, I don't even remember what card that was on. Gosh, I watched so many fights. It just like seems like such a blur.
It all blurs together. Yeah.
But so I'm really excited about that one because Garrett Armfield, he trains at Marathon MMA in Kansas City. And that's where do you remember it was maybe a couple cards ago. It was, I don't remember what it was the Abu Dhabi. It was Mike Breeden, the one that was barking at his opponent.
No, I don't remember.
You don't remember that? Oh, okay. You'll have to look it up. It was he got cut from the UFC, unfortunately, but he won the fight. And he fought this really hyped up fighter from India, Anshul Jubilee. He fought him and he was losing the fight, and then he just started barking at him. And he's like, I don't know where it came from. I don't know what happened. I just started barking at him. And then his opponent like legit kind of got scared. And he ended up getting a TKO.
Wow. And man had a mental break in the ring.
Like you could see it on his opponent's face. He was like, what is wrong with this guy? He's like, I'm scared. And so that guy trains with Garrett Armfield. He trains at Marathon MMA. So I brought that up. But and also Miles Johns trains there. Trey Ogden. So it's going to be really exciting to see him get back in there on a big card. I mean, that's huge. So, and there's a bunch of other matchups on that card. I think Jillian Robertson is fighting on that card too. And there were some other ones announced. I can't remember. Oh yeah, I think Blachowicz versus Rakic is on that card too. That might be the co-main event. Or who knows? Maybe the
card sounds crazy.
More. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. The last Canada card was so much fun. I'm excited to see it again.
They tend to start the year off pretty strong, the UFC. Like, well, normally their December card is like amazing. And then they start the year off pretty strong generally. So
yeah. It sucks we lost the John Jones.
Yeah.
That's
a
bummer. But
I think we went to a couple of the December ones in Vegas. So
yeah. Because is the main event Yuri versus Pereira? Yeah, and then the interim title.
What do you think about that one?
Two crazy guys that have a lot of power in their hands. That's what I think about that. It's almost seems, I was saying this on my podcast, and this almost seems like a movie, this fight. Like this samurai guy versus this like stoic guy with
Brazilian
bows and arrows.
Killer.
Like,
It's crazy. Yeah, I'm gonna have to take Pereira on that one. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know, because every time I've seen Yuri fight, I'm like really impressed with him. But then Pereira, he's just got so much power in his hands, and his striking accuracy is insanely good. Insanely good. So I don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't even want to predict that fight. That's gonna be crazy. But what's your favorite fight that you've ever watched? whether it be live or on
Yeah,
TV?
I have two, and they just happen to be both female fights. It was Jessica Penne versus Michelle Waterson,
Nice.
and it was Raquel Pennington versus uh, I forgot the girl's name, but she split her head open and finished the fight in the bulldog choke, and they're both covered in blood.
Oh, I know what
It
you're
was
talking
an
about. I don't remember who
amazing
that was
fight.
either.
Yeah,
I
she
saw
the
that
girl
fight.
I'm talking about has like a podcast now where she's a podcaster now. She was in the UFC.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I think I know who you're talking about. It's at the tip of my tongue. I
yeah,
cannot think of,
yeah.
but
I
I
know. I
know
see she pops
exactly
up
who you're
on my
talking about.
timeline all the time, and I just can't think of her name. But
Does she have
those
like
two fights
black
were.
hair?
She has black hair, tattoos. Yeah, has like a pinup model look.
Is her name Ashley?
Yes, I think
Yeah,
so. Yeah,
I think I know exactly who you're talking about.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That fight. If you haven't seen that fight, watch that fight. That fight is crazy.
So I think
Yeah, and
Raquel
Michelle
is going to be
Waterson.
fighting for either a title or an interim title.
Really? Okay.
I think
Yeah,
so.
she had a nice run. Yeah,
Yeah, she's good. She's always been
yeah,
really good. Nice.
yeah,
And then of course you already talked about your live fight, Tyron Woodley, Darren Till. Kind of hard to top
yeah.
that, I feel like.
I saw. So we also saw. We were there for the John Jones versus Cyril Gane because I made it a point.
Oh,
I wanted
wow.
to see John Jones fight live. We were at that fight, and we also saw Conor McGregor versus Cowboy Cerrone live.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah,
jeez, you got all the big ones. You go
yeah,
big, you
yeah.
go home.
I
That's
mean, you go
awesome.
once a year, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, for
So
sure. I feel like if I go to one, I definitely would want to go to a pay-per-view, either a pay-per-view or like a really big fight night card
yeah, yeah,
be what I would want to do. But
yeah.
I wonder what they're going to do for UFC 300. Probably Connor, I would think,
Maybe we'll
or
see.
Islam.
We'll see what's going on there. USADA's out the door, so yeah,
Oh
gonna be gonna
yeah,
be gonna be an
forgot
interesting year
about
next year.
that. I wonder how this drug-free some sport international whatever it's called. I wonder what kind of testing they're going to do.
We'll find out. We'll
Like,
see.
I
It's
don't
gonna
know.
be an interesting year.
I feel like it's either probably going to be everybody's like juice to the gills, or it's going to be even more strict than you said. I feel like it's not going to be any in between. I'm like, I
Yeah,
don't know what to expect, but it'll be
right,
interesting to see.
for
Um,
sure.
well, kind of transitioning, we know you love fights. We know you love to cook. Obviously, your hot sauce is incredible. And thank you, by the way, for sending that to me. You
You're
can
welcome.
always send
Thank
it
you
to me
for
because
supporting us.
I
I
run out
appreciate
all
it.
the time.
Did you get
So
your new package I sent you this week?
not yet. Not yet.
Okay, cool.
I will let you
Let
know
me know
as
you
soon as
get
I
it.
get it, hopefully soon.
Okay,
Um,
cool. Yeah, you should get it soon. Yeah,
yeah. Yeah. Sometimes it takes a while, but I'll be waiting for it.
cool. Awesome.
I'm excited. Yeah,
All
but
right.
I wanted to ask you too about music a little bit because I feel
Mm-hmm.
like to me, like when I'm cooking, cooking to me is like an art. Like for some people,
Yeah.
cooking is just like, oh, I gotta cook dinner. To me, like I get excited to cook. Like I love,
Yeah.
experimenting with new flavors and stuff like that. So
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like an art form to me. What kind of music do you like? I mean, are you into music? Is that a big part of your life at all?
Music is everything to me. So I used to make music in my younger days.
Nice.
I used to produce hip hop. I used to rap. I used to, we had a few records out. I think I still have some music hidden on iTunes somewhere. This is a long time ago. So music was a really, really big part of my life. I produced like several albums. Yeah. So for me, I grew up, went to high school in the 90s. So I grew up in the golden era of hip hop. So like
Oh yeah.
and in '93, Wu Tang Clan, Nas, Biggie, Jay Z, like all that stuff came out that year. So like that's the sound. I'm lived on the East Coast, so like that's the sound of music that I like. So Biggie, Jay Z, Nas, Wu Tang Clan, all that type of stuff. What's crazy is we're actually going to the 50th anniversary of hip hop concert tonight.
Oh, for real?
So yeah, yeah, yeah. We got tickets for that, so it's going to be crazy. Really looking forward to that. It's one of those things where I think it's going to be broadcast somewhere at some point. They take your cell phone, make you put it in a bag, one of those things.
Oh,
But yeah, we're
nice.
going to that tonight. It's going to be amazing. Yeah, so I'm definitely a big hip hop fan. Um, I went to high school um, in Amherst, Massachusetts. So it was kind of like near the grunge era too. So for some reason, I like Pearl Jam and like Smashing Pumpkins also. Like that type of like 90s grunge rock
Oh yeah.
music I like. I like jazz. I love Caribbean music. I love Afro beats. I mean, yeah, I love music, man.
I'm
Yeah.
the same way. I listen to everything. I mean, I'm a pretty
Hmm.
musical person too. I
Yeah.
was in a band when I was in high school, so I have music hidden on the internet as well.
Oh, nice. What instrument do you play?
I used to be a drummer and now I pretty
Okay.
much just play guitar.
Nice.
Because
Awesome.
drums are kind of hard to you know, it's not as
Yeah.
easy
You can't
to
do it
cart
in your
around a
house
drum set.
quietly. Yeah,
No.
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
No. Yeah. But I want to get one again though. Maybe when I have like my own house, that would be
Yeah.
cool. And
Hmm.
hopefully I can get one and get back into it because I love playing drums is like I like playing guitar, but I only started playing guitar because I like to sing. And so
Yeah.
I didn't want to just have somebody playing guitar for me. Like I wanted to be able to play my own music and write my own
Yeah.
songs. And so
Do you
that's the
still
only
write and
reason.
play?
Yeah, I do. I
Okay,
play.
great.
I haven't played in probably a week or so, but I usually
Okay.
play like every couple days. I'll pick it up for like 20, 30 minutes.
That's
And
great. Good for you.
yeah, it's fun. I love it. It's very stress relieving. So
Yeah,
that's the main thing.
of
But
course.
drums is like a whole different like I love playing drums and I love
Yeah.
learning different beats and like learning different
Hmm.
technique. So drums to
Yeah,
me
there's a
is completely
I
different.
follow a few like female drummers online and they just do like drumming demos and there's this woman called she does this thing called like Stump the Drummer where people like send her songs and say, "Can you play this drum roll?" and she'll like play along with it and try to like match the beat. It's pretty cool. Drumming's
That's
amazing.
awesome. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
there's there's a lot of people now I feel like that are kind of popping up different drummers on like Instagram and TikTok and
Hmm.
it's really
Yep.
cool and I kind of want to get back into drumming again soon so I can start making some drum content. That'd be sweet. I'm
You
like
got
I
to,
gotta
yeah.
get into this. This is
You need to
awesome.
start. You need to do your own like theme song. What's going on?
I know. I know. I really should. But yeah, do you like to listen to music when you cook? I do.
I do, yeah. I have my playlist, my ever growing playlist, and then I have like different playlists for every year. So I kind of make a new playlist every year, and I add songs to it. And then the next year I start a new one. So yeah, a lot of the same songs pop up on it, but yeah, I definitely do.
Yeah, I have songs I listen to every day. So
Yeah,
I get it. Yeah, especially 90s
yeah,
hip hop, which we obviously
the
that's
best.
a common interest. Yeah, I
Yeah.
it's the best. And even like some of the like more underground stuff, like People Under the Stairs,
Hmm.
I listen to a lot and
Oh
um
wow, that's great. You
yeah,
like Coast Contra? Coast Contra? You into those guys?
I'm not familiar with that, but I'm
I'll
gonna
send
check
you
it
some
out
of their
after
stuff.
this.
I'm really looking forward to the Meek Mill and Rick Ross album. I'm really looking
Oh,
forward to that album. That's coming out, I think, on the 10th of this month. Because they have
I
two
like Rick
singles out
Ross.
right now, and it sounds amazing. So I can't wait for that. Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, I like new hip hop too. I mean, there's definitely some of
Hmm.
it where I'm like, whoa, what is this? You know,
Yeah.
but, but like
It's not a lot of
there's
it's
some
not
good
for me.
stuff.
Yeah,
There's
I
some
love
good
Kendrick.
stuff.
I like some of Drake's older stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Big Kanye West fan. Up until a
Yeah,
certain point. Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm really glad we got to have this conversation. It's been awesome talking
Me
to you. We
too.
have so much in common. It's so cool.
I know, right? It's wild.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's so cool the internet how you can find people that are like pretty much exactly like
Oh
you in so many
yeah, for
different ways.
sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
that's awesome.
Technology's making the world smaller. It's great.
100%. Yeah. Well, I'm excited to try your new hot sauces.
Yeah,
I'm
thank you.
excited to get my package in the mail so I can cook some stuff up in the kitchen and yeah,
Yep.
I'm super excited. So yeah, anything I can do to help you and support you, please let me know.
Thank you.
Obviously, gonna
Same
hopefully
for
get
you. Let me know.
gonna get some great content out of this to hopefully help you kind of build your brand and
Thank you. Appreciate it.
yeah, of course. Well, anything else that you want to mention, any shout outs, anything else that you want to say before we hop off here?
No, I'm good. I mean, just shout out to everybody that's been supporting our product so far. The new brand, Tumie Coco, it's going really well. We've got a lot of cool stuff coming up. So thank you. Let's keep it going. And thank you for having me. It's been amazing.
Absolutely. Well, I will let you get back because you got a concert to go to. So
I
I don't want
do.
to get in the way of that.
All right. Nice
You
talking
have
to you.
fun. Absolutely.
All
Have a
right.
great night.
Take care. Bye.